David and housekeeping awesome Jeff.
Welcome, everybody, to the episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. Let's do this, guys. We have two special guests with us. And before we introduce you guys, we want to let you guys know, remind you that we are sponsored by the Virtual Fight Tour. And they got all kinds of things coming up. We have so many people, I can't even see the, let's see. Oh, in the background, they have a lot of things coming up. I think their first one is going to be in February, and so we're really excited about that. That's been an awesome thing that's happened since 2020, and they've carried it on and continue it and been consistent with it in 2021. So thank you, Virtual Fight Tour, for sponsoring us, and also we have the Arctic Challenge coming up January 15th. In Michigan, and it's going to be a great event put on by Chris Gorham, and so we're excited to be in collaboration and working with those guys there. So they got a lot of cool things coming up.
But I hear like there's a good amount of fighting at that tournament, so
yeah,
we'll have to see how that one pans out.
Yeah, and they're going to have Bailey Murphy doing a seminar as well. So
nice.
All right,
nice.
Great thing. All right, guys. So we got our guys in here. This is actually the first time for Abid Benwali. How you doing, my friend?
Doing all right, brother. Doing all right. How you doing?
Awesome.
I kind of couldn't believe that, Lela. I was like, because when I was telling you, I was like, wait a minute, this is the first time you've been on? Like, Jero's been on like 3 times now.
It's funny because I thought he's been on because I for some reason I thought he was on at one time within like 2 hours, but I guess it was you
After
came
our
on.
show.
We had Alex.
Me and Obeda and Alex came on when we did the judges thing, and we're like,
Right.
I was like, I know we're talking for like forever. And so I thought it was on this one, but maybe not.
Yeah. And Jeromy Roque, welcome back, my friend.
What's up?
Yep. And actually, guys, I think one time after we had a show, we all got on together and did like a Zoom call or something and talked about all this
We
stuff
did.
too. So
Man. We can talk forever. Man. We can talk forever.
Yes, we can. All right, guys. So we got lots to talk about. Mr. Jeromy always stirring up the controversy, and Obeda pushing them as well. So we love.
Listen, Jeff, before you go,
it.
listen. It's not about stirring it up. It's just
Exactly.
I'm saying things that everyone's too afraid to say. They're so afraid to say stuff because the consequences. I just don't fear those guys or anybody. You know,
Right.
At the end of the day, hey, when the market no longer wants me or us or our tournaments, they will let us know. Thus far, they haven't let us know. So
Right.
it's obvious we're doing something here, and people want to know the truth. They want to know what's going on, and they want the sport to improve. And if you know me, if you know Obeda, if you know us, what we're doing here, the focus number one is growth and sport improvement. That's it. That's it.
Right.
And if that means that I got to go out there and say some things that maybe it's not popular, then I'll be that guy. It's okay.
Right.
And if the sport betters because of it, then hey, let's go. And if it doesn't, that's okay too, because what's going to happen is people will come out and counteract me, and eventually the sport will get better anyways. So it's okay. It's going to happen.
Right.
Exactly.
I love it. So, let's just get right to the point. We talked
go to the
last week about, is there a split? Is there, with the announcement of the new, the 5 tournaments being involved with Black Belt Magazine, SMA, Mad Action, which is a great announcement for those events and for the competitors that are part of it, for publicity, lots of great things that I look forward to for that. But, on the other end, why was it made that way? Why was the announcement made like that, right? I know Jeromy and I, we've talked before. It's like, why wasn't it a league announcement, right? Something I said today was, would the NBA be like, these 4 teams, just do something. They're going to do their own thing. We're only going to do this, and the NBA not be involved in that announcement. No, that wouldn't happen, right? And so that's where I think a lot of us, and I know for you with your league down there, everything is league driven, right? So let's explain that of what that comment was and about the reason why, because I think a lot of people forgot why you keep saying new NASCA. But
yeah, where'd the term come from?
But it wasn't you that started.
So it totally was not me who started this new NASCA, this push. Jeff, was it about a year ago, 10 months ago?
Yeah, it was the beginning of. It was either the end of 2020 or the beginning of 2021.
So there was a group of promoters, right, who essentially y'all started with an email, right? Mm-hmm. And the email
where the screenshots at? Where the screenshots at, man?
Listen, man, I got sources. I can't get. Come on, man. So
hey, man, I'm just saying.
So it all started there, and an email got sent out, and essentially they were like, if you keep it short, let's do things this way. You have to use this system. You need to run the tournaments the only way, or else. It was kind of like, or else we are taking over, right? And so they forget that email was sent out. They forget that was said. They forget that they did this.
It doesn't sound like that's a bad way to go about it. It's very, even though it's very direct, it almost sounds unifying. Like, we are going to do things this way. Is that the way? I
mean, it is for 5 people, 5 events, right? Well,
I mean, the previous one. I mean, the one like a year ago.
I mean, it was the same. It was a few events.
It wasn't the same people, but maybe 1 or 2 were in there, and then another one was, or something like that.
But Jeff, and I said this in the group chat earlier. Listen, this may not be a bad thing.
No,
because it's obvious something has to happen. It's obvious change needs to happen. And maybe, and if you're seeing my comments like, wait, is Jeromy backtracking? No, I'm just saying what I feel. Maybe they're doing this because they really believe this is the way NASCA needs to be. This is the next step. So this is the new NASCA 2.0, NASCA updated, upgraded, whatever you want to call it. That's what it is. And guys, great. If that's what it is, great. But don't say that's not what it is.
Right.
It's never in the plan. When you already said it was, you made that comment, you published out this huge promotion and post and made it seem like it was its own separate league. It looked like a league post.
Because do we remember in the beginning of the year, there was 2 posts. There was one of that post, and then there was the other post that was the Juventex post with everyone that was using Juventex. So they were put out separately, which, that just, no matter what, again, should be league focused, right? So we're talking about 2 great systems we have, and competitors are still having to send in their own points. So that's a big issue, right? I mean, and so no matter what, people got to start working together, no matter what system you use. If you use one system, ideally that would be great. That way it makes it, but there's got to be a way for those guys to work together and make it to where the competitors don't have to send in their points anymore.
So
it also doesn't, this competitors sending in their own points. Sometimes you need someone who's not involved in martial arts at all to just look at this and go, that's dumb. That's dumb. Because we look at it, and so often, like, even though we're trying to look at it and decipher, like, nope, shouldn't do it this way. Nope, shouldn't do it this way. We even sometimes go, yeah, that's just the way things are done. And we sometimes skip that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It was like, obviously it was like 20 years ago. I was talking to someone about the point system, and they go, wait a minute, what do you mean you send in your points? I said, well, yeah, that's how the points get updated. And they go, well, this is all flawed. And I go, what do you mean? They go, well, people lie.
Right.
And then I started looking at it, and I was like, because anybody who's close or ranked, right? You watch if it's in your division or like the ones next to yours, you watch them all. And towards the end of the year, you're like, wait a freaking second. You didn't have all this stuff. And now it takes more energy to go back and try to get them outed. Now you look like an a-hole or a Karen, whatever you want to call it, right? And then they still end up just staying with those points anyway. So what's the point of this thing? What's the point of even having a champion at the end if it doesn't even matter?
Right.
And we got to bring Obeda into this too. But here's the thing. Here's what happens. Let's just be frank. We have two tech companies who are stepping way over the line. Right. Their job is to provide a service. Mm-hmm. Yeah. We, the customer, pay them $7, $9, $10, some tournaments, whatever it is, and they provide us, me, the promoter, or me, the competitor, with a service. A service to log on to my phone and see my division, a service to see my rankings. Of the promoter, a service to make my tournament run a little more smooth, right? But the reason why their points don't sync up is because they're at war. Right. So they are forgetting the customer first. Yep. Right. First, yep. And why? Why? Because they are tied to other people who are trying to be divisive about it instead of just saying, hey, the customer needs this. Sorry, the league needs this. Let me send you what you need. The league needs this. Let me send you what you need. Alex, if you pay Alex Dingman, if you own a home and you say, hey, Jeromy, I need you to cut my lawn. And then you say, hey, Jeromy, do me a favor. Can you mow this extra piece over here? And then you say, hey, by the way, Jeromy, I'm going to pay you a little extra to come an extra day, right? It's not my job to go to your neighbor and say, hey, are you okay if I cut an extra day? Are you okay if I – No, you're paying for a service. I need to do my job, But both of these guys, because they're loyal to, I guess, someone else, and then each side is stuck in their way. They're not caring about – and it goes back to a bigger picture, guys. It's not about the new NASCA. It's not about league improvements or not, or Mad Action or Juventus. It's about customer first. Yes. And league first, because customers first goes tied in with that.
Correct.
First.
Yep.
Okay, talk to that, please.
Hey, so real quick, man, the one thing that I do want to speak on ultimately, right? Because it seems like an even divide, right? Mm-hmm. And when we look at it, I don't know who sits on the NASCA board. I don't know who the board members are. I don't know if it was, hey, let's take a vote. But at the end of the day, like you said, if it's a league, it needs to be uniform at the end of the day. Everybody needs to be doing the same thing. It needs to be a one-stop shop. If I want to, at the first of the year, register for every single event for the entire season, I should have the ability to do that one-stop shop right there up front, right? And like to the flip side of everything you're saying, right, with the whole new NASCA concept, the fact that it is a dead split, the fact that it is 50-50, in my opinion, unless somebody jumps one way or the other, it's going to end up being two separate leagues. In my opinion, just looking from the outside, I have no ties either way. I'm gonna support who I support because that's who I support. It has nothing to do with the system that they use. But again, going back to customer service, right? Again, it all boils back to customer service. And right now, the mindset and the outlook on this whole entire thing, it doesn't seem that customer service is at the forefront of anybody's thought process.
Right. All right, let's look at, maybe a positive way to look at this. And what are some positives of this announcement? And really, the announcement really was geared more towards, marketing and really exposure for competitors, right? And really, one thing that Travis and they talked about on CTE was that he's glad to see actually like these different companies working together, like Sport Martial Arts and Black Belt Magazine and Jungo TV and Mad Action. Like some of them are already together. What was that?
What is a Jungle TV?
So Jungo TV
first
is
time I heard about it was on that post.
So it's like a streaming service, like a free.
If you had heard about it before.
Yeah. So it's like a free streaming service. Apparently George Chung created it years ago, and so it's.
And so how is this? And number one, I'm not saying it's bad or whatever, because more exposure is good for the sport. Blah blah blah. You already know that.
Right.
How are they going to put our product in front of people? Are they going to market it within their app, or do people still have to search sport martial arts who people are not searching for it? Is it going to show up like, if I turn on a Hulu right now? If I turn on Hulu right now, it pushes their most watched new episode of, whatever, of 911, 901, right? Or a new episode of this, new episode of that. Are they going to say, AKA Warrior Cup live Chicago? Or is it going to push this in front of people?
I mean, I hope so. I don't know. We don't really know yet, but they have their own channel. Black Belt Magazine has their own channel on that, right? So I guess they will have to where something goes continuously. And then I don't know about how else it's going to be, but let's see. Here's a couple.
Look, I think all of that is great.
Users.
Say again, Jeff or Alex.
He says Jungo TV has 300 million active users. Is what
I
heard.
active users. Yep.
That's awesome.
Yeah,
that's great. I just saw Jackson's comment. Yep. Hey, so look, man, I think the collaboration in regards to all of those companies, Jungo and Black Belt Magazine, and I think all of that is great. Again, it's all about putting the sport out there, pushing the sport. My question is, though, the way that it was listed, is all of that a package only for those specific events, or is it going to be for all NASCA events?
Can Juventex events use that?
Yeah.
That's my question.
Right now, it's just
want to
those.
work with Juventex.
Right. Yeah. Right now, it's just those. So
my next question is, how is any of that tied into the system or the platform? How is it tied into Mad Action? How would it be tied into Juventex? It sounds like all those services are completely separate from the platform for registration.
All right, I'm going to say.
Am I wrong?
I'm going to say what everybody's kind of started to think, but nobody said yet. All right, we all know it. We all do it when we're talking about going to tournaments. We all know, for the most part, at the highest level, they're all kind of the same. Not exactly, but you're pretty much going to get the same thing in one town that you're going to get in the next, right? When you're going for your division, all right? Yeah, it's going to be, are you going to have lobster? Or are you going to have pizza after the tournament's over? And none of it matters, right? But your decision as to whether or not you go to that tournament sometimes has nothing to do with martial arts whatsoever. It all has to do with the person running the event. And you might.
Really? You froze?
Maybe.
I thought it was
Alex, man. Up your Wi-Fi plan, Alex, man. What's up with you right now, bro?
Am I like spotty or something?
Yeah, bro. We didn't
hear nothing.
It was about and then it was like a T-Mobile commercial.
Well, okay, so all right, so summing it up, basically we all.
Come on, Alex. Do you have T-Mobile for service? That will happen.
Stop it.
Go ahead.
So we talk about that all the time when we're like, I don't want to go to that tournament because I don't like that guy. It's likely the same scenario here.
I have to put this comment up here. That's really funny.
Ross, man, you know I love you, brother.
Way too hard.
Never.
Thanks, Ross. Thanks for that comment. That's great. Go ahead, Alex.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Somebody, whether it's in the Mad Action side or the Juventex side, someone said, I don't want to work with them because they're a-holes.
So they're not going to get Black Belt Magazine coverage. They're not going to get Jungo TV coverage. They're not going to get all these additional things that we're offering.
That's what I'm saying, man.
Right now,
that's a disservice to the customer as a league.
That's what I'm saying. All these
anything
guys
extra, forget the platform.
Right.
Hey, forget the platform. Forget Mad Action. Forget Juventex. I'll use either of them. None of that matters, guys. None of that matters. But everything extra that's being done for the league should be done for the league, period.
Right. Now, here's the deal. So it's kind of like they're creating their own. Well, the league always did like their own triple crown and things like that, right? So if they put it out in that way, that these events were done in that manner, that these are a higher level events, and this is what we're going to do to show that, but it's not really done that way. You know what I mean?
So is it a 7A? Are these 7As? I mean,
again, it's not a NASCA, but here's the deal, guys. Again, it wasn't a NASCA announcement. It has nothing to. Actually, NASCA wasn't even mentioned in the last post, I don't believe.
Appreciate that comment, Jackson.
It was just, yeah. So
throw Jackson's comment up, man.
Yeah. All right. I'm not speaking for the partnership, but speaking for myself, I will continue to cover every major sport karate event, regardless of any affiliation. Great. Word. And that's what we need to know from Black Belt Magazine. You know what I mean? So, and yes, it should be uniform no matter what. But again, this wasn't a NASCA choice or announcement. You know what I mean? It was these events that are working with these two systems that are doing it. So,
hey, at the end of the day, let's keep it moving. We answered the question. We're excited about it. We think it's positive. I think it should be done across the board. Jackson just said, hey, Black Belt Magazine is going to be covering everything regardless.
So we're good.
You know, again, I don't know who controls Jungo or any of the other additional stuff, but
right.
Hey, so let me say what I'm most excited about.
Anything that pushes the sport forward is positive.
What I'm most excited about, and let's give credit to the real guys behind this, U.S. Open. Let's give credit to them. So U.S. Open has
hold on. You speaking positive about the U.S. Open? This is big. This is big right here. I love this. Go ahead.
U.S. Open always has done something to change the rules within the league, right? So they did. Alex, are you frozen or just really still? I think he's frozen again.
He's frozen.
So they did. I thought he was like
he hasn't blinked in 4 minutes.
He was really engaged in my comment. So
he blinked.
So U.S. Open did 2-point deviation, right? In forms and weapons, and we all agree. I think we agree that was a great thing for the sport, right?
Right.
U.S. Open put it where the night show can be televised and maybe given our sport another level, which is on ESPN, right? So another level of coverage, right? So that is the positive I'm looking at this. If those guys are involved in this, they are involved in this, you know, right? Because they're on that side. So perhaps there is something big coming that we just don't know about yet, right?
Right.
Because when 2-point deviation first hit, we were all like, oh, man, how can the judge tell me what to score? If I give you a 9.84 and you give that guy a 9.96 and he gives a 9.95, why do I got to bump my score all the way up? That's not right. I'm sure every judge said that.
Yeah,
every judge said, how dare they tell me how to score properly or score this way? That's my opinion. And now there isn't a reputable event that isn't using 2-point deviation.
Right.
So
or even that you have to have a different score too. That's another thing for the top four. You know what I mean? Like
the top four, they started that too. So
you cannot give the same score. And there's judges flipping out about that. You know,
man, they still can't do it. NASCA guys can't do that. I mean, NASCA head orbit. I mean, so that's a different story. But my point is, you want to. This is the positive side of it. But again, that is great. But then if there's such good positive coming out of it, when that happened at U.S. Open, everyone was behind it because you can't make a rule change at a national event, right, without everyone voting for it, I think, right? So, again, it goes back.
That stuff, they change rules all the time.
People don't follow rules.
That's a different part of this podcast.
We're going to get on that in a second.
So my point is, hey, if I'm hoping, right, that we are just early to the game and not included in some of these conversations. But again, it all started, and what has all went away is this group of people not working as a team, you know, and not even started with that. If you go to every NASCA event, you know, it's a different event. There's no consistency.
It's a series. It's not a league. It's a series of tournaments.
And so there you go. I give my positive. So for you guys on that side who are saying Jeromy Roque doesn't speak positive, is only negative. No, I speak what I feel. And that is what I think is happening.
Speak the truth.
That's right. All right. So let's see. Let's go a little positive. Well, we'll see where this goes. But
we're already 30 minutes in. We're supposed to be an hour, right?
Right. So what are some of the biggest improvements that we've seen this year? I mean, I don't know. Maybe there hasn't been any, but I mean, I think there has been there's been a lot of change as far as how tournaments are ran. We could talk about new rules. We could talk about, I feel like for me, most of the events, not every event, but some of the major ones, most of the judges have some type of dress code. At least they were trying somewhere. Now I feel like as the tournaments went throughout the year, then that kind of went down. But at some events, I'm seeing that more, and that's a positive thing for our sport. We're seeing maybe some changes on the times and the way that they're ran. The tournaments are ran with the block kind of the sessions and stuff, right? Yeah. What do you think about that, Albedo?
Again, I can't speak to every event because I wasn't at every event.
Right.
Everything that you mentioned is absolutely 100% on the positive side of things. To speak to block scheduling or running sessions, I believe that that's necessary to adopt across the board at every national event in order to have the best customer service. That's my personal opinion. Mm-hmm. I know you guys spoke on this with Jeromy when you guys spoke on the whole double elimination aspect of things, right? And how down here in Florida, we're able to run double elimination with events with big numbers, right? And are done in less time than events that run single elimination, right? Again, the reason why that's possible, sessions. It's all about the coordination on the back end, right? And I do have to say that Jeremy's the guy when it comes to that, right?
All right, say what you said again.
I'll plug Jeromy, right? Any national promoter that wants their event to run smooth, hire Jeromy Roque. It's
I
that
appreciate
simple.
you, bro. Thank you.
That's it. I know. So just to give you context, like I'm not oblivious to the coordinating side of things, right? I use Uventex for all of our in-school events, right? I coordinate our in-school events. I know what goes into scheduling, moving times around, making sure that everything runs smooth, right? Because it's all about customer service. And again, if you don't have somebody on the back end that understands that coordinating side, things are sketchy. Things are up and down, this, that, the other. Everything's got to be clear, concise, smooth. That's it.
Yeah, don't don't be like, hey, we'll figure it out the day of. No, have a plan.
Oh my God!
That's the word.
For me, biggest improvements. There was less world events. I mean, it happened by accident, but that was the biggest improvement. So every event that happened, there were quality fighters there. Right. Every event that happened, there was top level talent there. And so, hey, maybe a 5-league tournament is not a bad thing again.
No,
maybe it's not a bad thing.
I like that too. I don't know. I mean, yeah.
And then
you would like
the
that?
regionals were. Oh yeah, and then the regionals were bigger. And
the regionals were bigger. People are not going. Man, think. And Richard Osborne in the post earlier about how much money people spend on tournament, right? So imagine if now they can go to a tournament, a big event. I'm talking where they had to fly and hotel. I'm not talking about locals they can drive to, whatever. Every 6 weeks, instead of every 3.
Right.
Because when and NASCAR has 11 tournaments. I mean,
Top
and
notch competitors.
a few of those months don't have tournaments. So now you're talking about, I mean, look at Atlanta US Open a few weeks apart.
Yep. And both still had top quality people,
Yeah.
So
they're the biggest improvements I've seen, but it happened by accident.
Yeah.
That's what I think you're right. I'm never a fan for less events. I think when you start having less and less events, I think now you're getting less and less exposure to students to want to compete and perform on that level.
But no.
I'm not commenting that. All right.
You're seeing it wrong there, Alex. You're saying, all right, we're not saying less events. Okay. We're saying less world events. Okay. So you have your area that you build your competitors at, and guess what? Now your top fighters from your area are coming to your event too and being a part of it, right? Instead of, if they're so focused on going to 12 events, they don't have time to go to those local events and support their local sport. I mean,
hey, I guess I'm looking. Okay, so I see what you're saying. I just look at it through a different prism because I would never do that. So I would take care of home first. And so, but I know that there's plenty of people. I got friends who always did that. They just said, I don't do that local stuff no more. And I'm like, what?
Yeah.
But people do that. I know that people do that. I can't wrap my head around that.
If you don't do locals, I'm going to say this. If you don't do locals, you won't be best prepared for nationals.
Right.
Well, that's true. Exactly. I think the biggest reason why I always took care of home first is because I always looked at it through the lens of a coach and a teacher as well. Right. Yeah. So I can't have, 150 students just go to every national. That ain't happening. No. They've got to go to this one, then they've got to go to the next one. And it's so valuable knowing that you can send your students to this event and you know that you don't have to prepare them for the chaos that could potentially happen, right? You don't have to be okay, stay away from this area. You don't have to say, okay, yeah, but in your division, you have to change it and do everything like this now, all right? That you can just send them and you can go, I don't have to worry. The value in that is so huge. And I actually think,
Alex, what league have you been sending them to? Because I don't know what you're talking about, man. I'm just saying, because every tournament you're talking about,
we built different down here in Florida, man.
Are completely different. So I mean, if you're going to send someone from Minnesota to DC, and then you send them over to California, okay, it should be the same, but is it? No. So, I don't know. But
so real quick, to talk to Alex's comment, what he was saying about less tournaments. No. So I think there should be more tournaments. I'm a fan of more tournaments. Literally. And so in Florida, there's going to be some more South Florida tournaments. And you would think, hey, isn't that against the league that we have? No, it's not my league hosting those tournaments. But hey, 4 more leagues should pop up. Why? Because those people don't support our tournaments, but they need to compete somewhere. And so what happens? The sport grows. The sport grows because those people are competing, and more competing is good. So Alex, no, I'm not saying less tournaments. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is these world tournaments, there's so many of them that now fighters got to pick and choose, sponsors pick and choose, and now it gets diluted, right? So now you're like,
big time.
I'm gonna go here, but I'm not gonna go there. So everyone goes to Atlanta, right? But not everyone goes to US Open. More fighters go to Atlanta than US Open. All the big fighters go to Diamonds, right? But not everyone maybe goes to an American or something, right? A lot of fighters, not everyone goes there, and it's not me just being honest with everyone. So again, that is where if there was less, number one, maybe those events would be bigger on the world level, but number two, maybe these promoters would push more, right? So let's bring up the list real quick. I know it's not topic, but it kind of dives into something. There's 11 tournaments, right?
Right.
Jeff, you got me? Or are we here?
Yeah, I hear you. I don't have it on me though, but yeah.
I got. So there's 11 tournaments, right?
Yeah.
How many of those 11 tournaments promoters have teams?
Yeah. So we have AmeriKick. They have a team.
Okay.
Ocean State. They have a team. AKA has a team.
Okay.
What we got? Let's see. I'm trying to think the next one. Quebec Open. Yes, they have a team because they're involved with. They've pretty much. He's the guy who gets the sponsor for K-Top. So.
Well, but they were around before them, and they'll be around after them. But go ahead. That's 4.
Right. No, I know. I'm just saying.
Toronto has NMAC. That's right.
Yeah. NMAC is Toronto. Yep.
What's your point? I don't understand this. Now I'm confused.
Okay.
Where are you getting?
So here's what I'm going to. So 5 of the 11, let's say 6 because we missed one.
Yeah.
6 of the 11 bring teams. They bring teams. The other ones don't bring teams because they know by having a NASCAR World Tournament, your base is going to be this, right? True. So now separate that, and now you only have 5 world events. So guess what? Now these teams on both sides have to really push hard to bring people from their school to maybe create national teams. So what happens? More people are competing. That's what I'm going with.
Right.
More people are competing because now I know if I'm on this side versus that side, that guy might not come because he's on that side. That guy might not come. So I got to build my own team from within. Maybe I do got to get a national team. Maybe I do got to go filter people from my schools, And so, again, more people competing, the sport ends up growing. That's where I'm going with this, man.
Yeah.
I feel like before there would be a lot more. I mean, man, look at Diamonds used to have NK guys used to be everywhere.
Yeah.
Everywhere.
Yep.
I mean, Ocean State. I mean, does JPM have a team anymore? I mean, let's just go there. So, I mean, now we're not. They guys don't have teams. So, man.
Oh man. Wow.
But if all these guys are working for the benefit of the league, it doesn't, right? But they're not working the benefit of the league, man. It goes back to what we're saying. Anyways, go ahead. Yeah. Sorry, I did go off on a tangent a little bit, man. But
it's all right.
But it was necessary.
Yeah.
It's so important for us to realize that these guys, they're not even supporting their own events.
Right.
They're not even supporting.
Well, let's also look at that.
I mean, we talk about
something else up.
Hold on, Alex. Like one of the last events, there was 2 NASCAR promoters at. That is like one of the last NASCAR tournaments of the year. There were 2 NASCAR promoters at, from what I heard and saw. So, yeah, that's never a good thing.
Well, let's also look at this though, and this is something we kind of say, but then really look at how it's playing into practice. Look at the median age of the promoters, and I'm not dogging. What I'm meaning to say that is, I don't think they have a 10-year plan for being involved in this.
Mm-hmm.
And
some do, but not many. Yeah.
But not the ones that have had their own karate schools for decades and decades and have started to sell them off because the day to day for that is too much.
I'll counter that. I feel that every promoter in some way, shape, or form, for the most part, has a successor.
Yeah.
And the more that successor comes to the table, comes to light, I feel the better these events get.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we can just look, you have Hunter with AKA, that Sharky has. You got Jared.
You got Toby.
Yep. You got Toby with Battle of Atlanta. Yep. You got Jared with America. Well, and actually their whole system has people that can step up because their whole franchise has people that can step up, you have, right now, Christine is doing a lot of the work with Ocean State, and who knows what's going to happen with that. Maybe Chris will step up and do something or someone else, Muhammad's kids, Shaheen did a lot with that event over the last year or two. He did most of the judging clinics and stuff, So there's that. I don't know about Dennis Brown, You know, I don't know what's going on. It seems like there should be plenty of people with the diamonds, but I don't know. So, yeah.
Alex is going to stay quiet on that one.
Yeah. So, we also, I mean, I think that, you know,
those lines you can read between them.
Manny could definitely probably give it to Alex, you know, at some point. You know, there may be someone else involved that's working on that. I don't really know. But I
would
think
actually really like
half
to
of those
see
events,
Alex Reyes promote the Pan Ams. That would be one heck of a promoted event. You would hear about that year round. That would be
right.
fun.
That would be fun. But yeah, I think half of those events definitely have people, you know. I agree, Abeda. I agree on that part. But there are a couple that are very like glaring, you know, issues there. So
okay, so then all right, fine. I'm just gonna say it. Who is the successor for NASCA? If LC decided,
right,
you know what? This is a lot of travel. I am in my 70s now. Do I really need to do this?
Right.
Let me just take
those
a step
5
back.
events.
Those
Those
a
5
lot
events.
of events. Let me just take a step back. You know what? I think I'm only going to do half in 2022.
I think Emily Cooper is going to step up. She's the one pulling the strings with all those guys.
Why? Wow. I hope that ends up being the case. I said something a couple of years back, and I said
I'd vote for Emily.
I'm going to vote for Emily Cooper too. I don't know if she was applying for this job, but I think we just nominated her.
There you go.
She's always, you know, I was messing with her on a post a little bit ago. Hopefully she watches
hilarious.
this. But
fantastic.
She has always, you know, been about pushing the sport forward and positivity for the sport.
Yep.
So I can't speak on that differently. But
I don't think none of her events will run UNTEX.
Oh man, here we go.
All of her events will be Mad Action. I think there'll be Sport martial arts covered. I think I don't know if Point Fighter will be there either, but it'll be.
Well, you know, I said this. You know, you mentioned
This
Point
is
Fighter.
awesome.
I mentioned this a couple years back that I think over the last 20 years almost for Emily, I think the most influential people have been
Greg definitely seems to be the one stepping up.
Have been Emily Cooper and Alex Reyes, right? And I think Emily Cooper, look at it, when sportmartialarts.com was Mass Link. Remember that? Remember those days?
Yes.
Right.
2000.
Right.
Yep.
It was over 20 years ago. All right.
2000.
And we just couldn't wait to find ourselves a desktop computer so we could go like this, type in our 56K modem and see if we could get a fight. Oh my
Or
God.
just see if your name was mentioned in the article.
Oh man.
Right. Yep.
You were in
Yep.
an
You
article.
mentioned me when I won at 60. Yeah, you know, so
Right.
I think it's important.
Yeah.
You know, hey, you mentioned Greg Ruth. Man, so I got to give a shout out to that guy.
Yeah.
Because I feel like he is the only, and I feel bad I haven't got back to him now. I'm slacking. So, Greg, I apologize. He's the only NASCA promoter who's ever reached out and said, hey, Jeromy, I need your opinion on some rules. Some things you don't like as a judge. Some things maybe they need more clarification. He told Obeda too at Pan Am's. He said, hey, and so we actually sat at the night show a little bit. He says, do me a favor, put this in writing so I can, you know, review it all. And I wish I did it sooner because when you're actively judging, things come up versus when you've judged for a couple months. You know, I should have done it the week of. But you know, he reaches out and gets solid judges at his tournament.
Yep.
You know, he gets them there ahead of time. So yeah, Ruth is the man. You know, he's done a great job with Battle of Atlanta.
Very league first. He's a league first guy. I like that.
It seems that way.
Hey, time out though. Never mind, I won't say it.
What? Say it now.
Nah, it's all good. Keep going.
What? No, you can't do that. And then
I told you, it's what Obeda does, man. Obeda does.
Hey, so look. Y'all speaking on the division. if Greg Ruth is the successor, Greg Ruth is one on the forefront pushing things forward. We all know what side he's on.
Mm-hmm.
So we know where this is headed.
Right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
Well, here we go.
Well,
All right.
Hey, the only
We could
event
have
they're
saved
missing.
ourselves 25 minutes at the beginning of this and just
But actually, the confusing part about that is because I was thinking like maybe Greg Ruth would be the successor as well, because Larry Conahan he's the glue that's keeping NASCAR together, 100%, right? So, but if he ever just did decide like it's just too much for me, right? Whoa, all right. So, if Greg Ruth decided to do that, and Greg has strong ties to the battle, he's one of the promoters of the battle. I thought that was going to end up going Pro-Mac. And I thought that NASCAR
would turn
was just
into
going
that.
to end up becoming Pro-Mac. Now that's what it is. And there is no NASCAR. Now everyone's Pro-Mac, and this is the way.
That's all changed. So
no kidding.
It froze again.
Now it's the U.S.
Right,
Open. Yeah. But so
What happened?
Huh?
No, they froze. Maybe it was me. Everyone froze.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
All right.
Oh.
But yeah. All right. So let's we got to get this in let's finish the show on this, because this could take a while. All right. What rule adjustments do you want to see most in our sport? All right, Abeda, let's start.
Hey, look, I'm going to just speak on this quick. I'll be fast. I don't necessarily want to see rule adjustments per se, right? But I do want clear, concise, these are the rules always. And everyone is following those rules the same way.
The same way.
Right?
Yeah.
Let's go back and talk about 2-point deviation. It wasn't this ring's 2-point deviation, and that ring isn't. It isn't this ring over here is 3-point deviation, and that one's 4. It's 2-point deviation across the board. So whatever the rules are, the rules need to be clear, concise. Everyone knows them. The judges know them, and it's carried over. I see you. I see you, Andrew. As far as let seniors do every division.
I agree. Yep.
Oh,
and Drew says he feels like Pro-Mac has a good template for how judging is implemented. You know. But yeah, the key is consistency. I mean, it's got to be. Jeromy, what you think?
Listen, it starts with a rules meeting.
Yeah, exactly.
So
Thank you.
Adjustments. It's not about the rule adjustments. It's bottom line is black and white rules. We need black and white rules. No rules that give us time to
gray
think.
area.
No gray areas. Too much gray areas because
how many gray areas do we find in the rule book on the drive down to Miami?
Let's talk about 7 spread and 10 spread versus team fighting versus individual fighting, right? Let's talk 90 seconds versus 2 minutes, team fighting, individual fighting. Let's talk
team fighting, win by 2 points.
Win by 2, everything else win by 1.
I want that to be gone yesterday.
Yeah. Let's talk when does a fighter get penalized for going out of bounds versus fighting out? What is that rule? What is that? Because, man, what bothered me at Pan Am's, I'm judging, but before I judge, I asked the head arbitrator, I said, hey, I need you to clarify something for me because we do things different on Florida. So give me a very detailed description of what is out of bounds and what is not out of bounds.
Yeah.
He says he gave me the fighting out of bounds, blah, 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 right? But then the very next time when I wasn't centering, if a fighter went out of bounds at all, he got penalized. And I was like, well, he's fighting out, wasn't he? You just told me that was fighting out. So my point is, one judge deems fighting out one way, where one says, well, he went out. Hey, listen, black and white. We have weight classes, right? Everyone's the same weight. If you're doing it properly at the front, go out of bounds at all is a penalty point, right? Or it's a warning and then a penalty point, like Waka, whatever the case may be. So it needs to be rules that are black and white. Yep. Bottom line. Even if you disagree with the rule, as long as if I know If you step up, you're wearing a black uniform, you get penalized. I mean, a stupid example. You know what? Right. Boom, go change your uniform. Oh, that's a shade of black. No, go change it. So whatever it is, to me, it's not about rule adjustments. Whatever it is, we'll play by them. We'll fight by them. We'll judge by them.
I will say kicks to the body should be 1.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Just because?
Just because.
Oh, that's a terrible reason. I mean, okay.
Yes. What your response was. Listen, I go back on this. I was hard set on the 2-point kick to the body for a while. And actually, the way it kind of looked like, all right, looks like things are starting to be called a certain way. Like, no, it doesn't seem fair. All right. However, it does feel, since you mentioned this, Obeda, it does feel very much like we all get involved in martial arts because we love the kick. We love kicking. We want it. But then we see the guy who just kicks all the time and we're like, F that dude. He shouldn't get 2 points for it. That's what we wanted to do to begin with. Now you want to say the hardest thing to do in the match?
Hey, I answered. I responded to Jeromy the way I did so we wouldn't take 8 minutes to talk about 1 or 2 point kicks to the body.
You forget you have Alex on here.
So let me just cut you off now, because if we do start talking about the reasons why, that's going to be another 10 minutes.
All right.
Right. Exactly.
Fair.
Yeah. Right.
But yes, I do have reasons. I'll say that.
All right. And I probably agree with them. All right. Because I do go on both sides.
Let me ask a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Let me ask a question. Let's go down the rabbit hole. Let's have some fun here.
All right. Sounds good.
So let's forecast 12 months from now. There's a divide. All right. There's this side and that side. Which side wins? Which side succeeds? Which side is what we looked at as the world tour? Which is the elite level?
Hey, look, here's my answer. I don't think either side wins because I'm going to go to events on both sides.
Oh, I think there's a way where one side would win.
You think the other side is going to be gone?
Nope.
They're not going to be existent?
They're not going to be gone, but to be looked at like this side won this year. Whatever side Bailey Murphy decides he's going to do all of those tournaments, it's going to be looked at like that side won because he's the best.
I don't know, Alex. I can't agree with you on that because Bailey Murphy's going to go to all of them.
Yeah, he's going to go.
Murphy's going to be on both sides.
I said if. Right? But if he just decides like I'm doing this side, that's the side that wins. But it would take something like that for it to look like one side won more than the other. You see what I'm saying?
So let's go ahead, Jeff. Answer, and then I'm going to give you something that I have no supporting evidence for. But go ahead.
No, I'm just saying though, like if that happened, like he would go to the one with the most, what we think is publicity, right? So that would probably lean towards that side if that was the case, if he was just going to pick. But top fighters don't just pick one group to go to. I mean, Raymond never did that. Jason Borelli never did that. They went to every freaking tournament there was and won everywhere, you know? Those guys didn't do that, you know? So
yeah, but aren't there
11 World Tour events when they were competing?
Aren't there coaches?
There was. There actually was more. There was actually more, Jeromy. There was
on the NASCAR side.
Yeah, on 15 on the NASCAR side. Yeah, back in 2000, 2001, there was like 15. And then there was about 8 top-level national NBL events. So
we had tournaments in Phoenix, tournaments in Colorado.
They were everywhere. It was worse. And then I remember
Vegas.
And in a couple of those years, they made where there was no minimum, like it would be where you had like only your top 7 counted. They actually made where you can go to as many tournaments and whoever has the most points win. That happened for like 2 or 3 years. And that was insane. So, yeah.
So let me ask you guys a question separately from this before I get to what I really want to say.
Yes.
If someone wins one of these world tournaments, let's say there's a divide, and someone win one is, let's just say I go out there and I win one of these world tournaments. I know, and I say me because I'm not a Bailey Murphy. I'm not even close to any of those guys, right?
Okay.
Does who win tell you the level of tournament? Like, is it a world level tournament depending on who wins? Like, if all of a sudden,
question.
I mean, all of a sudden you go to Diamonds because Diamonds is the most prestigious event out there, and Joe Schmo wins because Bailey and Plowden and none of the legend guys and no straight up guys and no impact and no proper, none of those guys were there, but some loco NK guy wins. Are we still going to say, wow, look at that, look at Diamonds? Or is that the winner? And is that what you were talking about, Digman?
So that example did play out in 2018. The Irish Open had a blizzard and a lot of countries weren't able to come. Roman Brundle won the Irish Open, and you go, well, it is Roman frickin' Brundle, but he won in double OT to Ross Cook. And you didn't think about it because you're like, it's Roman frickin' Brundle, right? So it was like, yeah, it's Roman. If Ross Cook would have won, remember, double OT. If Ross Cook would have won that, it would have had a totally different perspective. People would have, because look, no one was there. But he did put the whoop on a lot of people there. All right. He put the whoop on. I couldn't even believe it. That was the best performance I've ever seen him have. And he took Roman, like I just said. But Roman wins, and you go, yeah, it's still a valid event. It's all perspective. It really, really does matter the way you look at it. And I don't have the direct answer, but that did play out.
Yeah, it's all interesting. So check this out. And again, I'm saying this because I have no supporting evidence. This is just for fun here, right?
Yeah, this is fun.
So NASCA splits up. One side becomes NASCA. The other side, Waco, decides to really take a hold in the States because they don't have anything right now, right? And so Liker decides, hey, this is an opportunity. We have world tournaments without a league, and they become the Waco World Tour.
Yep.
How awesome would that be, right?
Hey, so here's what happens. If that plays out, here's what happens. The forms guys go to the NASCA events, and the fighters go to the Waco events. So the split doesn't become a league split. The split becomes fighters and forms guys.
Okay. I mean, I again,
might actually be
not split. Like I have insider information.
Right.
Normally I do. I have nothing. Yeah. This is just me having fun with this. And I think that is where in a world where both would exist just fine, I think.
That could be interesting.
Interesting stuff, man. We've picked apart a lot of different things. This has been good. I'm gonna do something we never really do and end it.
No, man.
Before it gets too crazy. Alex, you shut up.
Another hour at least.
You shut up.
Hey, somebody get Alex some Turkish tea, and we can keep this rolling for 3 or 4 hours.
We can definitely keep this going long.
Okay, so here's because Obeda said it. I want to say this. So I'm hanging out. Listen, you guys want to have yourselves a great time in Orlando? Go hang out with Jero and hang out with Obeda. Go to a hookah bar and just find Obeda will give you some Turkish tea. You'll be up all night. And it is fantastic stuff. It's amazing.
Oh man, good stuff. Thank you guys for joining us, man. This was a lot of fun. And again, guys, if you just joined us, go back, watch it again, or listen to us tomorrow morning, 8 a.m.
Yeah, last week you guys are gonna have to go back and just watch our pretty faces.
Yeah, we had some issues. Yeah, we had some issues. Didn't make it on the pod, and it didn't get on YouTube.
Nothing to watch on Netflix anyway.
So we but we had a good show as well. So next week, we may working on another guest. So to get a different view or opinion on what we're talking about. So
nice. Hey, what you guys got going on this weekend?
Yep.
Oh man. So we have our banquet, our USA Sport Karate banquet And
I wasn't
it's
even
our
trying to
biggest
plug. I was
one,
just asking.
huge event. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be incredible. Yeah, we're looking forward to it. Hey, man, so I appreciate the plug.
Yes,
but again, it's
Cameron.
where you come from, man. It's about the sport, man. I'm not going to sit here and plug our league, plug this.
Right.
You know, but thank you. I appreciate it. It's going to be great. Our banquet here at the Wyndham. Man, John Curatolo's got a huge seminar. He's got like 55 people registered for just his seminar this
John
Saturday.
Curatolo is good.
I'm excited for that. And then after that, a big open mat because I'm bringing my gear. 55 fighters. Let's go.
Awesome. Cool. Obeda, you'll be
there.
there.
Going on, man?
I've got a busy day on Saturday as well. We have an in-school tournament, just our 7 Orlando locations, basically for all of our Orlando students here. We've got a tournament all day long, and then I'll be at the banquet. So it'll be a long day for me.
We have parades.
And then we're going to end. You know where we're going to end, Alex? You know what happens at night, right?
What?
I mean, Obeda, what happens at night? Where we going?
Sleep?
Now, bro. Now we're going to the spot.
The spot. Okay.
Oh my gosh.
So
I want to go.
We might have some Turkish tea because we're gonna be at the Wyndham. It's right around the corner.
Yeah, it's right there.
Oh man. Good stuff.
All
right, Alex.
I tell you what, with this third baby now that we got, I don't sleep. None. No bits.
My kids are grown, man. I'm good.
I get like a solid 40 minutes a pop. Is what I do. This kid, I feel bad for him. He's got he's got gas, but he's only 2.5 weeks old. No, 3 weeks old now. He's 3 weeks old. He doesn't have muscles to push anything out, so he's just like ornery all the time. Can you imagine if you just had an upset stomach?
All right.
You just be an ornery old man.
Jeff's like, man, I tried to cut this off 5 minutes ago.
Right.
No.
Talking about gas.
Oh my God.
What about you, Jeff? You got any parties you're about to go to, or you got
No, I have parades. Yeah, we have Christmas parades. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing that. And I have a wedding that I'm in. So yeah.
Nice.
It'll be interesting.
Nice. Thank you again.
All right.
We try to keep it nice and short. Yep. And I'm sure I'll have some posts tomorrow to disrupt
to spice up our day.
Yes.
All right. Thank you guys so much.
Yes, sir.
All right, gentlemen.
This has been another episode of Inside Scoop with Alex and Jeff. I am Alex Dingman.
I'm Jeff Doss. See you guys next week. Thanks, Jeromy. Thanks, Obeda.
Yep.
Yes, sir.